Okay, today we're going to talk about, yesterday we learned about rational numbers, and today we're going to talk about putting them in order and comparing them. So there are three different ways that you can compare rational numbers. So we're going to look at the same set of numbers, and I'm going to show you the three different ways that you can compare them. Okay, the first way is using a common denominator. So a common multiple of 8 and 6 would be 24. So to make this fraction have a denominator of 24, I'm going to multiply the numerator and the denominator by 3. So that gives me 21 over 24. Over here, I'm going to multiply this one by 4, and that gives me 20 over 24. So now that they have a common denominator, it's really easy to see that 21 over 24 is greater than 20 over 24. So 7/8 is bigger than 5/6. Okay, the second way is using decimals. This is probably my least favorite way, but it's important for later on when we're putting things in order. So let's look at decimals. What that means is we're going to take 7/8, okay, and we're going to divide it. So 8 goes into 7 0 times, 8 goes into 70 8 times. 8 times 8 is 64, 6, 0, 8 goes into 60 7 times, 7 times 8 is 56, 4, bring down our 0, 8 goes into 40 5 times. Okay, so when I take 7/8 and make it into a decimal, I get 0.875. Okay, so now we're going to turn 5/6 into a decimal. So 5 divided by 6. 6 does not go into 5, but it goes into 50 8 times. 8 times 6 is 48. We're going to subtract, bring down a 0. 6 goes into 20 3 times. 3 times 6 is 18. Okay, I can stop here because I have enough information to tell which one is larger, right? This has a 7 in the hundredths place. This is a 3. So automatically 7/8 is larger. So you can see this was a lot more work, okay, but sometimes it's necessary. So it's important that we understand how to do that. Okay, the last way, if you're comparing two fractions, is my favorite, and it's cross products. Okay, so we're gonna do 7 times 6 is 42, 8 times 5 is 40. So which cross product is larger? 42. Therefore, 7/8 is larger. So let's talk about what happens when we have to put a big set of them in order. Okay, I have 5 numbers here. I have to put them in order. Okay, so for me personally, I am going to start with my negatives. Okay, I have negative 0.37 and negative 29 over 40. So I can already tell that if I were to make this into a decimal, it's going to give me something that's greater, or technically less, than negative 1/2, right? Because if it was negative 20 over 40, that would be negative 1/2, and this is even more than that. So for example, on a number line, okay, I have 0, I have negative 1, and I have 1. Right? So negative 1/2 would be right here, and negative 29 over 40 is going to be less than that. Negative 0.37 is going to go right there. Okay, so then I have 1.12. That's greater than 1. And then 5/8 and 0.3. So if I have 5 over 8, and then 0.3 I'm going to write as 3 over 10. So now 5 times 10 is 50. 8 times 3 is 24. 5/8 is larger. So if I'm going to write them in order, I have negative 29 over 40, and then I have negative 0.37, and then we decided that 3/10 was smaller, and then 5/8, and then 1.12. Okay, so I went ahead and put these in order. So let's look at the next set. Okay, I have negative 0.625 and then negative 7/8. So I'm going to go ahead and do 7 divided by 8 to see what this is as a decimal. 8 goes into 7 0 times, 8 goes into 70 8 times, okay, I can go ahead and stop right there because it doesn't really matter what the rest of it's going to be. I already know that this is going to be less than negative 0.625. Oops, negative 7 over 8, right? Because it's going to be a larger negative. Then I have negative 0.625. So my negatives are done. So now I have 1.5, which is 1.5, 1.61, and 8 over 5. So let's do 8 divided by 5. 5 goes into 8 one time, that's 5. It goes into 36 times with nothing left over. So this is 1.6, 1.5, and 1.61. So 1 1/2 would come next, and then 1.6, and then 1.61.